It is said that as long as the speed is fast enough, we can easily run on non-Newtonian fluids. As everyone knows, non-Newtonian fluids become stronger the harder they are struck. The more forcefully you hit them, the harder they become, almost like a rock. So, is it really possible for a person to run on them? To find out, we mixed a batch of flour and water together, quickly forming a pool of non-Newtonian fluid. When we tried to grab the non-Newtonian fluid with force, it quickly solidified, forming a dough. Since non-Newtonian fluid can quickly turn solid under the influence of force to resist impact, could it serve as a ground surface for sports activities? We built a 10-meter-long, 0.4-meter-deep pool of non-Newtonian fluid and filled it up. Then, we had athletes perform sports activities on it. First up was a judo athlete. A judo athlete quickly performed an over-the-shoulder throw, tossing another athlete onto the non-Newtonian fluid. However, in the slow-motion replay, we noticed that the athlete's hand was slightly bounced back upon contact with the non-Newtonian fluid. Next up was a long jumper. He quickly took a running start and then jumped onto the non-Newtonian fluid. But in the slow-motion footage, it was unclear whether he was bounced back by the reaction force of the non-Newtonian fluid. Then we brought in a sprinter. The sprinter, with his fast and powerful strides, quickly ran across the entire non-Newtonian fluid pool. Under slow-motion observation, although his shoes came off, he still experienced the force of the non-Newtonian fluid and was able to complete his run just like on solid ground. Following him was a triple jumper. Like a sprinter, he also needed a running start. Even after running into the non-Newtonian fluid, he was still able to complete the triple jump as if he were on solid ground. It seems that for runners, the non-Newtonian fluid allows them to run quite easily. But what about a gymnast performing on the non-Newtonian fluid? At first, the gymnast performed normal gymnastics routines, but when he used his hands on the non-Newtonian fluid, the small contact area caused him to sink, and he couldn't complete the movements like on solid ground. However, on his second attempt, using movements that didn't involve his hands, he was able to perform perfectly as if he were on solid ground. Clearly, it is indeed possible to run on non-Newtonian fluid. I'm Danding. See you next time.